Hello YouTube, Ronan Kazi here, coming back at you with a DPS comparison video. Recently I've done a tank video and I went over the various tank builds that I might use, and I mentioned I'd do a DPS video, so here it is. So similar to the tank build, I'm attacking the same control point with all three builds. The builds are using the same skills. The builds are using the same loadouts except for the 4 pieces that make it the gear set. So I'm using a Ridgeway chest piece, and I'm using a mask that has 20% headshot damage, whatever that DNH piece is called. I'm not normally a weapon DPS player, so if I suck, it's because I suck. The first part, I call this breaking a control point. The first part usually have more enemies, and it's a little chaotic, and it's tough for these builds because they don't have a lot of protection, and if you get attacked by multiple people, if you're getting grenaded at the same time, it's tough. For the weapons, I'm using MP7, and I have a Calabre shotgun. Really just focused on the submachine gun, critical kind of builds. You could probably use any type of submachine gun, but I'm just trying to keep the loadouts the same so you can kind of see the difference. What struck me immediately was that Negotiator's Dilemma. It's a gear set that I had completely ignored. I didn't know how to use it, which is really incompetent because there's nothing to do to use it. But I kind of didn't get it. And when I used it this time, it really shined in this example, because even at range, I could mark a bunch of different mobs. In Negotiator's Dilemma, once you mark everyone, they all take damage. Now with the backpack, they take 100% of the damage. Part of the good and bad about my loadout system is I want this chest piece, which is different than the gear set chest piece. And the gear set chest piece and backpack provide additional benefits to the gear set. So I'm losing the chest piece benefits, but in some cases I'm getting a little bit of a heal for sustain through the Ridgeway, and for Ongoing Directive, it's kind of the way that starts that whole process. Negotiator is good. I think it'd be good in a group, and it's good solo. What makes it good solo is that you can, besides the critical hit, critical damage portion of it, you can mark a bunch of enemies, and then you can kill them all by focusing on one person. So it's a nice setup. Even if the enemies aren't all grouped, you can mark them all and then do damage to them all. So in that respect, it's fantastic. Ongoing Directive is great in a group that you're giving everyone the ammo. Once you start the chain of the ammo creation, it's pretty self-sustaining. If I was going to focus on Ongoing Directive in a DPS level, I might use Stoner with the 50 round magazine, so it'd have 250 rounds. So when you get your bleed ammo, you're getting 250 rounds of bleed ammo. You're not worrying about getting your ammo back up, because you have that bleed ammo forever, and you're going to find a red somewhere, even in a legendary or whatever, that you're going to pop and then continue to get your bleed ammo. Hunters would be great in a group, because when you get near people, you mark them. When you kill one of them, that's my other dog, when you kill one of them, it disorients everyone around. And with the backpack, goes from 5 meters to 10 meters. So you can imagine a scenario if you're on hunters, you're near a spawn point with a tank. When you're with the tank, you're gonna mark all of them, number one. Number two, when you kill one, it's gonna stun everyone. So that's fantastic. And it has some damage bonuses. you know, with the gear set for shotgun and submachine gun. If you use a Scorpio with hunters, I think it'd be pretty devastating because you're doing status effects all the time. Maybe if you changed out a couple of pieces, so maybe you can imagine a hunters with a vial and maybe a creeping death. So maybe you don't have the backpack, then you have the chest beat. So there's a lot of utility you could do with hunters. So they're all great gear sets. For my type of play, I just gravitated towards the Negotiators. I use Ongoing in my skill build. I rolled them yellow and use that, and it's fantastic in a group. But I also have Pulse, which is putting status effects on people, and then when I kill them, I get the bleed. All of these are great. There's my other dog. All of these are great when eventually you get the control point flipped and you're defending. Negotiator's dilemma is the guys are coming out of spawn, you're marking them, and then you're just firing down range. You're killing all four of the people coming at you as soon as they spawn. So it's pretty devastating. Ongoing Directive, you're putting the bleed out. And this is where hunters is a little bit tougher. Hunters, you have to be near the enemy for all your stuff to prep. So that's part of the good stuff and the bad stuff. I want you to think about, you know, what's your kind of defense. When someone gets up close, you just have so much damage. You're putting them down pretty fast. And Ongoing Directive, hey, the dogs are going crazy, sorry. Ongoing Directive, you get like a 35% damage bonus to people that have the bleed going on. So that's a fantastic way to put people down when they get in close range. So, Negotiator's Dilemma, same thing. You're doing a crap ton of damage. In Hunters, you have this disorient. Would I pick one of these builds to solo I'm so sorry about the dog. Knock it off. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't pick them to go solo. I'd have a tank build or I'd have a skill build, but that's my natural play style. I've come into groups where people, maybe they invite me because they're having a hard time because it's weapon. I think it's hard to do one of these heroics control points if you have a weapon build. Maybe if I played weapon builds a little bit longer, maybe I might have a different weapon build. I am going to look at the other sets like Striker and Heartbreaker, and I rolled whatever the red, Patriots. I rolled that red. Those are kind of like stacking DPS builds. So the benefit of those are I'm stacking my benefits to do more damage. Those might not be that great in a control point where I have a bunch of... Heartbreak might be okay because it's kind of like a tanky DPS. But when I have to stack, I have to build up. So these are separate. I'll try to do those in a separate video. And you can kind of see of the stacking type of builds, which is better. You know, Striker gets a lot of love. Heartbreak is great because you get armor and the assault rifle or the damage buff, I believe. And so I rolled those red. I rolled Patriots red. And so now I'm going to compare those. Not now, but in the future I'll compare those. And I use Tip of the Spear, but Tip of the Spear is a different type of DPS where the advantages are I have to switch a weapon, or like the new one, I have to go into cover to get some benefit, or I got to come out of cover. There's some mechanic that stops me from there. Look, I died in Negotiators. And this dumb NPC guy, I saved him in one of these videos and he won't res me. I think he got forearmed by one of the mobs. So those other ones, there's a mechanic where you got to stop firing, where I fire my ultimate weapon in Tip of the Spear and then I get a damage buff for my regular weapon. When I tried to do it, I was going to include it in these, but it just is a completely different play style. And then what I found is I'm using gunners for all of these builds, that probably demolitionist is better. It's probably a better ultimate weapon. But what I'll probably do is compare all the ultimate weapons with tip of the spear and see what the advantages are. Running technician all the time, I really hate those missiles because it seems like they never fire. Again, I might not be smart enough to figure it out, but they don't seem to fire all the time. It's another video for another day. Getting back to this though. These are all great. It's going to depend on your play style. I went out, after I made these videos, I went out and played with some of them in the summit and did some heroics with people. And they're great in a group. When you're not soloed and you don't have to, you're not facing an enemy alone, they're pretty powerful builds. You're dishing out a ton of damage. So they're fantastic. And just like everything in the division, it comes to what your play style is. You might be coming from, let's say, a traditional MMORPG where a damage dealer is just dealing damage and you're going to not worry about any type of healing. Someone else can provide that to you. And here's what I can imagine. Imagine you're in a clan and you have someone maximize these builds out to the nth degree. You've computed out your maxing out your critical hit so that you can increase your critical damage to the highest levels. And you see those types of videos on YouTube all the time where they're taking a build and they're maximizing it to the nth degree. The problem is, what I found on all those kind of builds where you're min-maxing is that your sustainability is tough sometimes. Now there's some like Heartbreaker, and you can look at the developers as they've made the new gear sets and as they've reworked some of the gear sets, there's just sustainability built into it. Like Heartbreaker is great for that new, whatever it's called. The one where you flip day and night, that one's great because you heal. You don't have to put any healing, so you can build a nice build. These builds coming from like an older day are more, Negotiator's Dilemma. You don't really have any sustainability. Ongoing Directive, you don't really have any sustainability. Same with Hunters. You kind of can either do so much damage that you're putting them down before you come. I want you to think about when you're getting charged by either the outcast or those drug crazed, or the hyenas, the drug crazed person's charging at you. You got two of those coming at you. If you can't put them down, they're going to melee you. So that's the one thing. Or if you're getting grenaded, you're on one of these builds where your advantages are short range, you got to go out and get the grenade guy. Those are tough builds for these. Those are tough builds to engage with ranged people. Negotiator's not as much. So hope you enjoyed this. Hopefully it gives you some food for thought. Hopefully you go try it. And again, if you need to go get this stuff, I usually go to the summit, select my gear, hit the M button, then the H button, then select the gear I want, and then I just roll through there. You can do it on challenging. You don't get the best rolls. Remember, you don't really care about one of the rolls. Some of the red ones you can always beef up, and then you can re-roll the other attribute. With the greens, you only have to really worry about one. You can do it on heroic, but don't do a lot of directives because then it takes forever to get the loot. You just want to get loot, so maybe heroic no directives, or challenging a bunch of directives. Get more XP. Anyways, that's a different video that I already did, how to get loot and all that stuff. I hope you liked the video. Trying to do more, going to work on doing more. Appreciate all the help you guys and all the support. Very humbling that you guys take the time to comment on the videos. I appreciate it. I appreciate in-game people pointing out stuff. Everyone's been really great. It's a great community. Hopefully I can do more stuff for you. Thank you for the support again. Hope you have a great day. Bye.